A very good evening to us all once again. And it's been a very long break for us because of the Easter celebration. And we are here once again to speak to you on a very interesting topic. And we have seasoned panelists in our midst as well, who would help us to discuss this discourse that's going on regarding the murder of the 10-year-old boy in Kaswa. And once again, this is Empowerment show, showing on Today Ghana News TV. I'm sure most of us already view us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. But then I have some good news for you. Today Ghana News is now on Twitch TV, and we stream live via satellite. So those in the Eastern European countries can now watch us on their television sets. Empowerment is a program that has been tailored to address all issues relating to women and children primarily. On this show, we inform and reform mindsets, behaviors, and attitudes through the power of our voice. And there's a saying that it is not when my voice is raised that you should worry. It is when I have nothing more to say. We all have a voice, and we must not keep silent, because posterity will question our silence someday. We cannot afford to fail the next generation. So last 2 weeks, I came up with a teaser, and it says, they called for the women who were battling abuse, and you kept silent. They called for Muslim women wearing hijab in school, you kept mute. They called for the Rastafarians, you remained silent. And today, they have called for the life of a young 10-year-old boy. Would you still keep silent? Bear in mind that very soon they may call for you and me. They may call for your family or children. Is that when you would suddenly find your voice? Let us speak now and realize the power in our voices. Without much ado, I would be introducing my guest shortly. And it's just another amazing opportunity to be with you. I hope you share the link for others to also join us. And today on the show, we have two guests that have already been with us, but for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time, I would want to still go ahead and introduce them, together with a third panelist that we also have. So today we have with us Her Excellency Ambassador Zita Benson. Her Excellency is a mother of two and a former Minister of Education, who later became the Minister of Tourism under the late Professor John Evans Atamil's administration. She is also the former Ghana ambassador to Czech Republic and Serbia under ex-President John Dramani Mahama. My cherished audience, it is worthy to note that it was through her unflinching support and effort that the Czech Republic bloc has an agreement with Ghana to give Ghanaian students scholarship to study in that country. And this is a great feat for Her Excellency Zita Benson. We are very glad to have her on the show this evening. Her Excellency, you are welcome to Empowerment Hour. Okay, so we have with us also two other gentlemen that will join us later in the course of the discussion. And one is in the person of Mr. Fred Yerdon, who is an audit and compliance officer. And today he will speak as a concerned parent regarding this atrocious crime of the murder of a 10-year-old boy. And finally, we have also another gentleman that will join us in the course of the discussion. And he's in the person of lawyer John Indebugri Awuni. He is a private legal practitioner who began his education at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and went to further in law at the University of Cape Coast, after which he went to Makola to be called to the bar. Okay, so it's very awesome to have these amazing personalities with us tonight. And I know that my audience cannot wait to hear their views on today's discussion. So we have Her Excellency already online, and I would want to welcome you, Her Excellency, to today's show.
Thank you. Thank you, OHENEWAA.
Okay. So, Mommy, Her Excellency, there's this issue concerning the murder of a 10-year-old boy in Ghana, in the Kaswa environs. And apparently it's because his friends, or should I say his colleagues, felt that was a way that they could make quick money. So they went to a ritualist who asked that they come with a ransom of 500 Ghana cedis and a human body part, or should I say a dead human being. So they went ahead to kill this innocent boy as a means of fulfilling this request by the ritualist so they could be rich quickly. And the news came as a sudden shock, or should I say the news came as a very disappointing one to a lot of Ghanaians, and many people have shared their concerns regarding it. Can we kindly know your views when you heard the news? What was your initial reaction?
Thank you, OHENEWAA, and thank you to the team, and good evening to all viewers and listeners. In fact, you rightly described it. It was one of shock because the corporates involved are very young kids, 16 and 17, I think, or 17 or something like that.
15, 16.
Yeah. And in fact, we were all shocked because during our time, at the age of 16 or 17, all you want to do is to, get an education, pass your exams. You are looking at, entering the university. You have a dream that you want to follow, and you are working towards that dream. So what would make 16 and 17-year-olds, go and lure their friend from his home to go and sacrifice for rituals? It beats our minds. I mean, it tells you that something is wrong in our society and something must be done about it. In fact, this is not the first time we are hearing of such ritual sacrifices.
Mhm.
The Takrady girls issue came up, and nothing was done about it. Three Takrady girls, yeah,
Mhm.
three Takrady girls were kidnapped for rituals. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and eventually they found their skeletons. They had been killed for money rituals. And thankfully, just recently, the judge, I think, has sentenced the people involved to is it death or life in prison or something like that. So this thing has been happening all around us. Recently, we've been hearing a lot about missing persons, even
Mhm.
including adults, not just children. We have a lot of people, you be there and then you see a full-grown adult missing.
Mhm.
You be there,
Yeah.
you see a little child missing. So it tells you that ritual sacrifices are rising. And for
Yeah.
me, my worry is, how is government protecting the citizens?
Mhm.
How is government protecting the citizens against such ritualists? You know,
Mhm.
Ghana used to be a very safe country, and you could walk around anytime, you could do anything you wanted to do, but now you can't do that anymore. And you ask yourself, why is there the need for people to think that they can get rich overnight by sacrificing human blood? What is causing it? Who is behind it? See, those are the issues that we need to deal with.
Mhm.
So this little boy's death should be an awakening to all of us that no one is safe. These boys, they've been coming to the little boy's house to come and eat. I understand the mother has been feeding them. They've been coming to play in that house. And that was why it was easy for them to lure this little boy away. So it tells you that no one is safe. So when an issue arises and you think that you are okay, so you keep quiet and watch, you never know when it will get to your doorstep. So it's something that we must all handle and condemn and talk about, because these boys were trusted in the boys' home, and they came to lure this boy away. It tells you that anything can happen. Your own children could be sleeping in their house, and their friends would come and take them, take your child away, and do whatever they want to do with your child. So everybody must indeed speak against it and task government to do something about it.
Not to interject, Her Excellency. I came across a news item that says the minority chief whip in Parliament, that's in the person of Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, who stated that Parliament has a role in curbing advertisements of spiritual activities. On our screens lately, we have a lot of spiritualists and people who do quick money, this money gari or something that they call it, advertising on telly and all that. And it looks like nothing has been done about it. It's been going on for quite a long time now. And the minority chief whip is saying that Parliament has a role in curbing this advertising spiritual activities. As a person who has once occupied some national offices in this country of ours and in our Parliament House, would you say that it's within the jurisdiction of our members of Parliament to fulfill this aforementioned responsibility?
Absolutely. OHENEWAA, we vote for people to represent us, and that is the core duty of our MPs. They're supposed to
Okay.
be our voice. They're supposed to pass laws in our favor. So we don't send them there just because we want them to go and have a good life. We send them there so that when there's something happening in our constituencies, they will speak up for us, and that is their core duty. Now, for me, ever since this thing came up, I have my voice has gone out there, and I have made it clear that it is about time that the National Media Commission regulates these juju men, malams, ritualists, a conforce on our national television. It is not done anywhere. You guys are in Europe. Do you see spiritualists advertising on your television sets, asking people, if you have money problem, come and see me. If you have you want to take somebody's husband from them, come and see me. If you want your if there's a girl that you want, and she's not interested in you, come and see me. I'll give you a medicine. She will fall in love with you. Do you see that on your TV screens in Europe, in America? Do you? But we have allowed these people to operate on our airwaves, not just on our TV screens, including radio. The radio stations allow them to come and talk about how they can make people rich overnight. The TV stations allows them to come and talk about how they can make you rich overnight. Children are watching. Otherwise, how do these 16 and 15 and 16-year-olds get access to a juju person? According to them, they saw the advert on TV. According to them, they saw the advert on TV, took the number and called the woman. And that's how this person told them that we need human body parts with 5,000 Ghana cedis, and we're going to make you rich forever. So if whoever allowed that person to advertise on TV, if we had not allowed juju people to advertise on TV, it would be difficult. I mean, for these kids to even have access to this juju person. And then you have a whole TV station. I don't want to mention the TV station's name, but everybody knows about it, where they do sikagari. What is sikagari? Has government asked themselves what sikagari is? I remember about 6 weeks ago, I posted on my page that is government or Ghana police aware that there's some scam ongoing on at a TV station where they claim that if you bring, for instance, if you bring 10,000 cedis, they will double for you. And people have gone there and have been scammed. How do they do the doubling? Is it through rituals? Is it through giving you fake currency? Is it taking your money and defrauding you and then you lose your money? How is government protecting people? Because listen, when you watch TV and you see that, you see someone advertising something on TV, you are bound to believe whatever they are selling on TV, because you know that government is regulating these things on TV. The Ministry of Communications is regulating it, and under it you have the National Media Commission, and you have Ministry of Information. See, so the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Communication, National Media Commission must be up and doing. They need to regulate these things. We don't have to allow juju men to come on TV and advertise that if you are interested in a certain girl that she doesn't want you, you can use juju to brainwash the person and sleep with the person. Is that right? They do that to your child, would you be happy? So why are we allowing juju people to operate on our national televisions? In the past, juju obviously is part of our culture, our tradition, but in the past people were even hiding it. Now you see them with signboards. There are signboards. OHENEWAA, it's not just radio and TV. They even mount signboards. When they are traveling along Akuse, Akosombo, Kumasi, you see their signboards. You do see their signboards. So something must be done about it, because this ritual method for quick money it has gotten out of hand. And I can tell you that the factors are a lot. It is not just about people advertising and making it easy for young boys to have access to juju men, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't know what your next question is, or if you want me to go on, but it's the factors that are leading to our young men, young boys and girls, wanting to be rich overnight without working It's a lot. And
Yeah, Her Excellency, would be glad if you could give us some of these factors that lead to some of these actions or such atrocious crime being committed.
yes. So the immediate factor for me, the immediate one that we are talking about is the activities of juju men on our airwaves, radio, TV, signboards, the activities of juju men. Even on Facebook, you have
Yeah.
malams coming up to you and
Sending friend request and all that.
yes, and then telling you that they can make you rich overnight. They can make you. But
Yeah.
who doesn't want to be rich? Everybody wants to be rich, but you must get rich the right way. You must get rich the right way. So the immediate factor for me is the the increase or the rise in malams operating on our airwaves freely, and because these people are on our TV stations, the people who are watching know that they are I don't want to say legal, but they are not fraudulent.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Mhm.
So, but for me, the remote factors, there are a lot of factors, and some of the remote factors is unemployment. There are no jobs.
Precisely so.
There are no
Yeah.
jobs, unemployment. So the young boys, they are there. There's no future for them. They'll go and struggle on the streets to sell. They make like maybe 5 CDs a day, and they know life is hard. So there's no future. So what do? They want a quick way out. And then trying to find a quick way out, they go and chase this juju. The other factor is education. As we speak, on the 5th of April or 6th of April, our SS students were supposed to have gone to school. On the day that they were supposed to have gone, that is when the Ministry of Education released a letter that they shouldn't come, but they should rather come on the 5th of May. And these kids were crying. We are running a double track system of education. So most of the time, they are home. They are idle. They're not doing anything. And the devil finds work for the idle hands. But if these kids were busy in their classrooms, in their schools, I don't think wanting to be rich overnight and planning a murder would be part of it. But they've stayed at home so much, and in staying at home, now they think that it's okay for us to find our own way. Government doesn't care about us. They are playing with our education. So let me go find my own future, even if it means killing my friend to get rich overnight. Where after they finish SSS, the education vocational schools to train them not available. These kids, I always talk about them. Their future is bleak and bare. Government promises a lot, but that's nothing for them. You see them roaming on your streets. You see them, what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You all see them roaming on our streets, idle, trying to make a living. So fraud has become part of our society. It has become part of who we are. And we have normalized fraud. And that is why we call it Sakawa. So you see fraud boys, instead of condemning what they do, then you proudly say, oh, this one he's a Sakawa boy. Oh, this one he's a Sakawa boy. I hear the Sakawa too, they use juju to fool their clients. So obviously, if we have normalized Sakawa, why are we surprised as a people that these young boys wanted to be rich overnight? Why are we surprised? We have normalized Sakawa. Then you have pastors. Pastors are also to be blamed. Pastors are on TV also. Morning, afternoon, evening. Afternoon when they are supposed to be working, when people are supposed to be working. Radio stations, people are having a church service on radio stations. They're supposed to be working. If you don't work, you won't make money. For the pastors, I think that is their work. So they are working, they are trying to get you to give them money. So obviously they are working. But you are wasting your time when you're supposed to be making money. And then they promise all sorts of things. If you buy oil, I will make you rich. If you bring someone's picture, maybe you have a relative abroad who you are expecting, you want to go and ask them money, bring their picture, that is all part of our fraudulent behavior, our evil behavior. If that is not juju, then tell me what it is. Because you can't tell me that I should bring someone's picture for you to pray over, so that that person will take all his money and bring to you in Ghana. That is juju. And that is not fair. And that is not right. And all those things that those pastors are doing must be condemned. So they are all part of it. So the factors are a lot. And then you have our young girls also, who look up to certain role models in our society. And the young girls also want to be rich overnight. And what do? They become slave queens. And slave queens, it is our nice way, our Ghanaians' nice way of saying she's an ashawo. So she's slaying, she's sleeping around with people's husbands. And we as a society have normalized side chickism. It is okay for you to go and be a side chick to someone. It is okay. So we have normalized it. So these young girls, instead of aspiring to become important people in society, they aspire that, oh, imagine. Why? Because she wants to wear a weave on that costs $1,000. She wants to hold a bag that a woman who has worked all her life, and can afford, she wants to hold that bag to when she has never worked a day in her life. So it is all those factors that is bringing out the evil in our society. The boys are doing the sakawa, the girls are doing the ashawo, slave queens. Because what do these slave queens do that our young girls look up to? They come and flaunt whatever they have. They don't work. They come and flaunt. Today they are flaunting their car. Tomorrow they are flaunting a designer bag. Tomorrow they are flaunting a Bond Street. Tomorrow they are flaunting iPhone 12. They can't afford it, but they see the old slave queens doing it, and they think that, oh, this person doesn't work, but this person has slept to someone and is living a good life. I can also go and do it. And then they get their lives messed up. They get pregnant, the men leave them, and then if you're not careful, you cannot find your feet back on track, then your life is messed up forever. So the factors in our society is making all these things normal. It's making sikedro. First, when we were young, when they say someone has gone for sikedro, you are even afraid of that person. You don't want to get close to that person. But now you have young girls hovering around Sakawa boys, who obviously they make it public knowledge that they are engaging in some form of jujuism to be able to steal money from people. So government must do something about it. The Ministry of Education is messing up our education. The children stay home more than they're supposed to. They stay home more than they stay in school. And don't forget that the exams they are going to write, which is the WASI, they are not going to write it alone as Ghanaian children. They are writing it as a whole in West Africa. So in West Africa, Nigeria, for instance, doesn't care whether you are running a double track or not. When the time comes, you are all going to write that same exams. But you are not well prepared because you stayed home more than you were supposed to. So the Ministry of Education must do something about it. Ministry of Gender. It is not there as a white elephant for someone to be just appointed as a minister to head that ministry. The Ministry of Gender has a lot of work to do to bring these young girls to look into what they are doing. The young girls and boys who sell on the streets, how are they helping them? How is social services? How are they moving in to help them? Is our social services even working at all? Because out of desperation, these young boys and girls, they go out there and they do what they have to do to survive. But most of all, National Media Commission must ban all those sikagari, all those women who come and brag that they are confused and they have powers and they can make you rich overnight. National Media Commission has failed Ghana. They have failed Ghana and they must do something about it as soon as possible. The man who heads National Media Commission, his name is Mr. Eboafo. Recently, I heard him saying that The people who are blaming the death of the Kaswa boy on juju people on TV are lazy in thinking. That is the most laziest response I've ever heard in my life. Because I am not the only one saying, the people who watch the TV stations are saying that we don't want the juju. The viewers are saying that enough of the juju on our television sets. Get rid of it. And you who are supposed to regulate it say that, oh no, I'm not going to regulate it. It's a lazy way of thinking. Everybody is saying that enough of juju on our television station. What do you, as a government appointee, have to do? You have to listen to the people. That is why you were voted in, to do what the people want, not to do what you want and call them lazy. So the National Media Commission has a lot of work to do. First of all, get rid of all the juju people on radio, on TV. I don't care how much money they are going to lose. The lives of our children are more important than how much money those private television stations and radio stations are making.
Well said, Her Excellency. And my producers have made me aware that we have one of our panelists as well in our studio, and we would want to take his views as well, and then get back to Her Excellency to espouse into details some of the questions that we have. Okay, so you are welcome, Mr. Fred.
Yeah, thank you, OHENEWAA.
It's awesome to have you on our show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. You are doing a very great job. I've been following the program. It's very good. It's very, very educative. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Fred, we would want to also have your perspective and your view concerning this recent murder issue, or this atrocious crime that was committed by these young minors on their underaged, or should I say 10-year-old friend. When you heard the issue, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I felt very sad upon hearing it, because I couldn't just imagine young people as so young as 16 years thinking that they want to make money so easy or so early in their lives. For what? We've been here, we're getting to 40 something, and at least by the grace of God, we can take care of ourselves, but we are not yearning to be that rich. So why are you in a hurry to get rich so easily? But it all boils down to where our society is now heading towards. I think, first of all, let me extend my condolences to the parents of those, the boy, the parents of those who lost their son, and then to the other people, all the families concerned. It's not easy to lose a son, especially to be murdered by their own friend. For their own friend to have done this to a colleague, it's not easy. So I find it difficult to come in terms with it. But however, following Her Excellency's discussion, she's trying to put everything on government. Who is the government? It is the people who are the government. So we have to accept it that our society now is going in a wrong direction. For that matter, we have to change the way the society is going. But the government has to lead the way. I agree with her perfectly. Gone were the days, how do we orient children now into society? We are moving away. We are Africans, and we have refused to accept the fact that we have some beautiful and moral values for which we are throwing away and accepting the Western culture. Yes. Growing up, gone were the days that a young person, if he does anything wrong, could be corrected outside there by anybody. Even a stranger can correct you. You don't have that these days in our society. You cannot even correct anybody's child when you see him or her doing the wrong thing. All these NGOs about child rights, they are doing a good job, but they are going to come at you. Now, even if the good book, the Bible, allows us to correct our children when they go wrong, what is wrong with us as a society correcting our children if they go wrong. We are in fact affected by what we hear daily. All the time, what you could hear, you switch on your radio, internet, everywhere, people's life could be changed within a twinkle of an eye. Anybody at all could publish anything out there about you, and nobody will cross-check whether it is true or not and will accept it.
Yeah.
I agree perfectly with the point Her Excellency made about the National Media Commission. As part of their work, they are supposed to educate Ghanaians and protect us as well. The media is supposed to give us information. Let's ask ourselves, some of them are doing a good job. What information are they giving us? What information are they giving us?
Yeah.
What education are they giving us?
Mm-hmm.
Some stations are setting the agenda for us. Every day we wake up, it's a new agenda. What they want us to talk about, that is what they put out there.
Yeah.
What they want us to talk about, that is what they put out there. It's not about what is affecting the country anymore. So attention is deliberately diverted from important national issues to what other people want us as a nation, 30 million people, to think about. They are directing our thought processes now. So how do we come out of this? We have to go back to our values as a nation.
Yeah.
We have to go back to our good values. I accept the fact that some of our African values are probably outdated, but going into the future, we should come along with some of the good moral values. Why would we? If I sometimes, it's up to parental, it's all about parental care. How are children now ushered into adulthood? Parents no longer have time for their children. They leave the house early and come in late. We are chasing money, 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 money. And if you, the parent, you are chasing money, why don't you want your children to also chase same? You don't have time to be at home as a father. You think because you are making so much money and you are providing for them, it's enough. That is not parenting. That is not parenting. That is not parenting.
Oh.
You need to sit down and accept the fact that who are my children going out with? Who are they talking to? Children have phones. Do you know what they do with their phones? Do you know which websites they visit? The smart ones, these days, if you even Google your name, and information about yourself could pop up that you yourself don't know that is out there.
That's true. That's so true. Not to interject.
Yeah.
Mr. Frederick, I quite remember there was a time I Googled my name and then I realized a particular newspaper had published my article. And I was like, whoa, if not because I just decided to even Google my name, I wouldn't have known that this newspaper has picked up my article and published it. So these are some of the things. Sometimes you just pick a phone and then you Google something and then what you see amazes you and you wonder, whoa, is this really going on?
Yes.
You know, yeah.
So you see, and children when they are growing up needs to be guided. You understand? They become curious at a certain point that they want to know everything.
Yeah, not to cut you off. Now, because of this whole 21st century, we have children who have television sets in their rooms, children who have access to their personal mobile phones and all that. And parents are not able to even regulate the things that they watch on telly in their rooms. Now we have even the influx of a lot of illicit programs, pornographic in nature, and the excuse that people give on these TV stations or these media platforms is that they are shown at odd hours when children are expected to be asleep. And sometimes I fear that there will come a time where, there will be a lot of immoral activities in our youth, in our children, because sometimes as a parent, you might think your child is asleep. And before you realize, the child is actually watching these illicit programs on our television. And I think that's exactly what you are saying.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, we are supposed to have a national censorship authority or whatever it is directing such programs. Are they doing their work apart from the National Media Commission? When you watch foreign movies, it is rated 18. So it beholds you, the father. If you watch foreign movies and probably a parent should see the child watching something that is not good, he closes the child's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Do we do same in Ghana? Mm-hmm. Can you do same? Mm-hmm. You understand me? So we need to have a society that should accept the fact that we have faulted and that we are not going to give. What kind of Ghana are we handing over to the next generation?
Good question.
What kind of Ghana? I'm a parent. I get worried and I ask myself, so what kind of Ghana am I leaving behind for my children? You have parents who are encouraging their children to go into this, what Her Excellency was saying, Sakawa. Nobody finds anything wrong with about how you make your money. All we know is to join you, enjoy it. We don't care how you made it. We don't care whether you duped somebody, whatever way you got it. No, we don't care. It's all about us joining you and giving you names, appellations, Bosu, 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 and enjoying those monies. Had it been other jurisdictions, if you find a child or somebody with certain level of expenses, spending some amount of money, you'll be called to book by the tax authorities and asked, how did you earn this money you are spending? To find out whether you are paying taxes on it. It's another way. It's a very good way to stop Sakawa. Okay, if government cannot stop them, then I would advise that join them. If you get them, ask them to declare how they made the money. If they are not able to declare it, confiscate it. That's all. And use it for developmental projects. That's all. Parents should be up and doing. Parents should up their game. It's not business as usual again. Her Excellency spoke about our educational system. What the kind of educational system that was handed over to us from the colonial days, it's the same thing we are still implementing. We've changed curriculum without textbooks. We've changed curriculum in this country without textbooks. So we are encouraging people to come out of schools to only focus on the white-collar jobs. We are not training entrepreneurs. We are not training people to be independent, to employ other people. If you had finished university or even a technical school and you could write a good proposal in other jurisdictions, if you present it to a bank or any venture capital institution, they should be able to sponsor you and give you money because you are going to also employ other people. That will take away some people from the unemployment line. Are we doing same? The country is so much polarized along political lines. You can no longer talk about anything and you are branded, you are in party A or you are in party B. What is happening is a true reflection of who we have become. What is happening is a true reflection of what we have become. You have, Her Excellency said it, young girls no longer find it, they don't even feel shy that you are going out with people's husbands. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see anything wrong with it. Young men, some don't see anything wrong with it also, chasing people's wives. So we have accepted certain immoral values as normal.
Yeah.
We no longer care about each other. As in the past, if even your sister had given birth and is having challenges in their marriage, the brother steps in and take care of the children. Do we have same these days? So that is how the Ashantis developed that wafa oho.
Yeah.
Do we have same these days? We don't. These children in money rituals activities, don't they have parents who should question them? Who should be the first people to question them that how did you make that money? Because I know you don't work. How were you able to afford this car? But they see it to be normal. I think a lot will have. If for us to change, we need to go back to our roots. Parenting should be enforced. Parenting should be enforced and made a full-time job. If you want to be a parent, accept it. That it's not a wishy-washy thing. It's a full-time business. You have to do it. And government have to support with certain policies and legislations to curb some of these things. If not, I don't know the kind of Ghana we are going to give to our children.
Well said, Mr. Fred. And we still have some more questions for you, but then let's take a few comments. And then also lawyer Indebugri has joined us in the show. So let's take a few comments from our audience and we'll hear the perspective of lawyer Indebugri and then back to Her Excellency and then to you once again, Mr. Fred. So
Okay,
my
thank you.
request is kindly project some of the comments that our audience have, brought up. Okay, Money God says, well, Money God, thank you. We always see you on our show and we appreciate your constant patronage to this program. We are very much grateful. He says, Mr. Fred, you are very right. Parents are now putting their wants over what really needs to be now and now. The society is paying for it. When children go wrong and you try correcting them, you become their parents' enemies. What results do we expect to attain from it? Mr. Fred has said it, and Money God cannot agree any less. Amma Santua says, the chairman for National Commission for NCA is Paul Adom Ochre of Metro TV. On the ticket of this government, how can he ensure discipline if he can ask the president what he eats to make him look young, whilst there are economic questions to ask? So she's saying that some questions are very irrelevant. Some irrelevant questions are directed to the government when we have pressing issues to discuss as a nation. And it's very pathetic, especially coming from people of such high offices or ranks and file of this country. Joyce Emefa Ado also comes in to say, great program, Joyce OHENEWAA KWAAPONG, kudos. Thank you so much, Joyce Emefa Ado. I appreciate greatly. Nana Akom also says, nice program, watching you live. And I think I saw some few more contributions. And Joseph Elom Aka says, we don't mention TV stations or radio stations. How can the authority fight them? Please, let's not allege. So he's saying we should come out and then call these radio stations out so that society can come on their necks. Ama Santa says, what is the job of the Ministry of Communication and Information? What is their job? What is their role? And Odoi Tema says, I'm watching live. Thank you to all our audience for watching, for joining us. Ama Adiza says, you look great. Thank you so much, Ama. Thank you. Okay, so I think after reading a few comments, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we would hear the views of a well-seasoned lawyer in the person of lawyer John Indebugri Awuni. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. You are welcome once again to Empowerment Our Show. And today's discussion has been on the topic, the ritual murder of 10-year-old Kaswa or 10-year-old boy in Kaswa, a true reflection of our media and social orientation. Okay, so we've had some of our panelists sharing their views regarding this topic, and as I mentioned earlier, we have with us lawyer Indebugri, and he also tackled it from the law perspective, or should I say, from the point of the law. Lawyer Indebugri, you are welcome once again to Empowerment Our Show.
Thank you very much. Good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners.
Good evening to you as well.
Thank you.
So without taking much time, let's zoom into the question that we have for you. And lawyer, I would want to find out from you, we always talk about freedom of religion and all that, a lot of freedoms that we are expected or we are supposed to enjoy as, citizens of Ghana or citizens of this country. And one of these freedom is the freedom of religion. I would want to find out, there's this public outcry that is calling for the ban of fetish activities on our media platforms. And, as usual, we have some activists coming out to say people have their freedom and they have every right to enjoy their freedom. Would you say that it's a breach of the religious freedom of some minority religious groups, that's the traditional religion? Would you say we crying out for the ban of these fetish activities is, a breach of their religious freedom?
Thank you very much for this question. The question of human rights is a very dicey one, in the sense that, yes, where one's right begins is where another person's right ends. So there is nothing like absolute right and freedom anywhere.
Okay.
For instance, if you look at our Article 12 of the 1993 Constitution, it guarantees that the fundamental human rights, as enshrined in Chapter 5 of the Constitution, are to be enjoyed by all, but subject to the respect for others. So that is to say that where the Constitution gives a right, there are limitations to what extent that your right can go.
Okay.
Even if you take media freedom, for instance, the Constitution says that there must be media freedom without censorship and whatever. But then, if you go further in Article 164 or so, it sets limitations, which to the effect that where in the interest of morality, public policy, public safety, among others, I cannot mention all,
Mm-hmm.
the enjoyment of your right must be limited to some extent. So I would not say that banning fetish priest uh, activism, or so to speak, on especially radio and TV, is in principle a breach of their human rights. In as much as they have the right to profess it, they must also ensure that the greater majority who are not also interested, and especially the youth of these days, and as we have before us today, what happened, the heinous crime happened in Kaswa, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure, as it has been rumored that they took inspiration or they motivated by some of these things they listen on TV and others, which they probably did. I remember when in our days, some of us where we came from, you had no access to the TV. In fact, even if you had it, you will not be allowed to even get closer to it, let alone listen to some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we see today? They seem to be, everything is totally out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, to answer your question in short, I don't think that there's any violation or breach of the right to profess one's religion, because the very constitution that gives that right, that says that all persons are equal before the law, and that fundamental human rights must be respected by all and whatever, say, but subject to the very provision of the constitution. And in the constitution, public policy, morality, public safety, among others, are one of the limitations. So if their right to profess their religion is in sharp conflict with the greater majorities or the greater public's safety and morality, then something must be done.
Well said, lawyer. And also a follow-up question. Looking at the turn of events concerning this atrocious crime, parents and relatives of the deceased appear dissatisfied with the turn of events and proceedings, especially with the fact that the court has given these perpetrators 2 weeks remand in custody. As a legal expert, what message will you give to the parents, family, and sympathizers to the family regarding this?
Very well. And my first word to them is to express my deepest condolence to them. It's most unfortunate, it's sad, it's very painful. You can use all the adjectives, but then in terms of the law, uh, particularly Article 19, Clause C, Paragraph C, Clause 2 of Article 19, an accused person shall be presumed innocent until he's been proved or he's pleaded guilty. So the mere fact that they have been arrested on an allegation that they have committed the crime, the crime of murder, until they have been tried, convicted, and sentenced by a court of competent jurisdiction, we cannot just say hey, it's alleged that you guys committed this crime, so straight away go to jail. That also will be a breach of their fundamental human rights to fair trial. So I'm thinking that the parents should hold their breath, let the trial course go into it. I don't know their ages, but it is rumored that some of them are 17. I don't know their ages, but if indeed there's a 7-year-old person there, of course, a juvenile court will have jurisdiction to determine to try such a person. But if there are others who are older than 18 and they committed a crime together, the law, the Juvenile Justice Act says that they can be tried together. However,
Okay.
the juvenile amongst them, not the one who is 17 years, who is allegedly 17 years, like I said, I do not have that fact, but it's an allegation I've heard. If convicted, must be sent to, or must be referred or transmitted to a juvenile court for sentencing. And according to the laws of this land, particularly the Juvenile Justice Act, it provides that no court, not even the Supreme Court of Ghana, can pass a death sentence on the juvenile or a life imprisonment sentence on the juvenile. So these are some of the expectations that the parents should examine themselves. Even if in the event that they are convicted and their age is below, or they are juveniles, they are below 18 years. A juvenile is someone who is below 18 years and is a juvenile offender is in conflict of the law. It is presumed that yes, they will be punished, all right, but perhaps the expectation of punishment might not be as if it were an adult offender. So the parents should exercise their breath. It's too early to expect that they should just go to jail straight away. They must be tried properly and convicted or acquitted by a court of competent jurisdiction. So
I was
we
about
plead with
to,
them.
yeah, to that. People are saying that this is clear and there's already evidence that these two young guys committed that crime. So then what is the point in now, going through all these proceedings, or should I say procedures? Because it's just a delay. It's already been established that they committed that crime. But I think, in law, they say innocent until proven guilty and all that. What's your take on that? Do you think it's even appropriate to even have a state lawyer for them if they do not have personal lawyers? Or what do you think is supposed to be done?
Yes, they are entitled to a lawyer. It's a constitutional right. And they are also entitled to the presumption of innocence. It's a constitutional right. And the Constitution, mind you, Clause 2 of Article 1 is the supreme law of the land. And any other law that is inconsistent with the Constitution must give way. And let's go back to elementary criminal law principles, which is to the effect that for one to be guilty of an offense, there must be evidence that a person committed what we call the actus reus and the mens rea. The actus reus is just the actual act of committing the offense. Yes, the guys murdered or the guys killed the young man, the 10-year-old man. But then, what was their mental state? So for the person to be guilty, then it means that the actual act of killing, let me put the ordinary word killing or the plain word killing, must coincide in point and time with the state of the mind of the accused persons or suspects. I don't know whether they've been charged or not. That's why I'm using the two words interchangeably. So to say that yes, they have committed all right, but what was their state of mind? Which you and me cannot tell now. It is only the trial of fact sees with jurisdiction who can determine whether indeed the act of killing coincided clearly with their mental state. They had a guilty mind. And even in the offense of murder, there are elements to prove that One, there was a killing, and then there was a killing, there was a killing which resulted in death of a human being, and it was caused by unlawful harm, and then among others, and then it was backed by intentionally. There was intentional killing, but that's the word I was looking for. Intentional killing. So, for instance, if out of the blue I have my shotgun and then accidentally, I mean, it triggers off and kills somebody. I didn't have the mind to kill the person. It's accidental killing. So with that, you cannot say that the fact that the shotgun went accidental and killed, then I'm guilty of murder. No, I might be guilty of something else, manslaughter or something else, but not necessarily murder. So those having those harboring those conceptions, with the greatest respect, I disagree with them, and it's misconceived and it's prejudicial to the fair trial of the suspects. So that's basically my answer to those holding those that view that is clear. It's not clear. It's not clear. We cannot tell until it is put in the weighing scale. The evidence is tested in the weighing scale to be sure that indeed it is clear. You and me sitting here and speaking to the general public cannot make prejudicial comments on it.
Okay. All right. Well said, lawyer Indebugri. And also, most of us have come to the realization that, families of this victim are in the public space, granting interviews and all that. And then, we have the spokesperson of the deceased coming out with like his line of argument that these people, as described by the court as minors, are really not minors. And some of his excuses, or should I say his line of argument, is that a minor cannot actually conceive to even think of committing such a crime. And I would want to find out from you, we may pardon them because this, should I say in quote, a layman's view of, let's say, expressing their, grief or kind of something. But then would you educate the public or demystify such thoughts? Can we make those, is it synonymous, or can we draw that line that indeed the extent of crime that the person can commit can be linked to the person's age? Just educate the public on this so that people won't end up saying that, oh, looking at this person and the crime that the person has committed, I don't think a 16-year-old can actually think of such a crime and even commit such a crime. Could you kindly educate us on this bit?
Very well. Crime has nothing to do with age. Crime has nothing to do with age. Before you say one has committed crime, each and every crime is a creature of statute, as laid out principally in the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29. Apart from that act, there are other legislations that also prescribe crimes, and then there are penal sanctions, so to speak. So, for instance, if you say one has committed defilement, you must be able to establish that the person was below 16 years and then there was penetration without consent. So if these elements, these ingredients are not established, then the accused person is acquitted. So every crime has its unique, essential ingredient that must be proved by the prosecution. I'm not assuming legal ignorance of strict liability offense where you don't need to prove any element. There are some offenses that the statute says that once you commit this and this, the onus lies on you to prove you yourself, and then you must go. And those are those we call strict liability offenses. So even though there are elements to be established in each crime, there are some that need or that require no proof. So I think that crime has nothing to do with the age, except to add that nothing is a crime committed by a person who is below the age of 12 years. if an 11-year-old child says that I will shoot you and kill you, and then you stand there, you don't run, and he shoots you and kills you, the law says that he commits no crime. He doesn't have the mental capacity to commit crime. So such a person goes free. So that's about that question.
Okay. So thank you, Lawyer Ndebugri, for enlightening our mind's eye on the legal perspective of this whole brouhaha. Let's take the views of Her Excellency once again, and then we'll move to you again.
Thank you. It's been nice. Hello, Lawyer John and Fred. Nice listening to you both. And yeah, we have a problem on our hand. Just to add a little to what Lawyer John said, I think that the act has been confirmed. They found the body that they committed the crime, and the mens rea, which is the intention to do, has also been established that they were going to use him for rituals. Now, it will be easy on the court if they go and I don't know what they pleaded on their first appearance. I don't know if they pleaded guilty. But if they pleaded guilty, then I think that the court can proceed with a summary trial and go ahead and sentence them without going to the full 9 yards. But if they pleaded not guilty, then the court must now go the full 9 yards and establish the facts that relates to the case. So I don't know what they pleaded. But if they did plead not guilty, if they did plead guilty, then I think we'll have a summary trial on our hands where the judge can move on and sentence them. To come to the issue that we are talking about, or you have a question for me?
Go ahead, Her Excellency. After your submission, I'll come up with my follow-up question.
Okay. Yeah. Fred spoke a lot about our family fiber falling apart, which is a reflection of our society. And let me tell you, we think that we are learning a lot from Western society, Western world. Oh, in America, it's done this way. I'm telling you, that is a fallacy. The children here are properly brought up. The children abroad are properly brought up. So if we are learning from the Western world and we think that that's how things are done, and so we can also do things the same way, then we are only fooling ourselves. It means that in Tree they say that what's your atraso? Exactly. Oh, so we need to have a real look at our society again. We need to have a real look, and I'm glad that lawyer spoke about the rights of the media and everything, because with every right comes obligations. With every right comes obligations. So if you, the media, it's your right to advertise these things, you have to make sure the obligation is on you to ensure that nobody comes to come and advertise quick money. Quick money, what is quick money? How do you get quick money without working? So you are promising something that is basically a scam, that is basically a crime, which is against public policy and against public morality. So the obligation is on the TV station to ensure that such evil things are not advertised on their television stations, on the media airwaves, even though everyone has a right to religion. But if you have a right to religion, because of that, you come and promise things that in the normal mind or in our laws does not augur well, does not make sense. Then you are promising something probably that is going contrary to the law. So that is why people, the institutions that have been put in place must ensure that the people watching, viewers, listeners are protected. You can't talk about right without obligations. You can't. See, and I'll give you an example. Advertising on Sikagari and saying that bring money, I'll double. Is that not a crime? How are you doubling it? This person who has been advertising Sikagari, I hear allegedly has police protection. So the police that, and a lot of people have come out to say that when they went to her for the doubling of the money, you know, they were scammed. But she has police protection, so the victims are not able to get their money back. Has anyone in power found out, bothered to find out whether how she doubles the money? You can't come and sit on American TV and talk about doubling money without the FBI coming after you. You can't come and spray money on social media without the FBI coming after you, because they want to know the source of your income. They know how much you earn. If you earn $10 an hour and you are spraying dollars, the next minute you have the FBI knocking on your door. It is their obligation to ensure that you are not committing any crime. They would watch you, they would investigate you and find out the source of that illegal wealth that you are displaying on social media, that you are displaying on TV. So our institutions have failed us. Our institutions have failed us miserably. And then Fred talks about people, the children not having parental guidance. How are they supposed to have parental guidance when they are all out there on the streets selling? Do you know the kind of ideas they pick up on those streets? They learn all sorts of things. It's survival out there. Survival of them. Some of them don't even have parents. Some of them run away from their villages, from their regions. They are all in Accra. They are trying to make a living. So there's no parental guidance. And you ask yourself, and sometimes I feel very sad when I see children, 4 years, 5 years, in the middle of the street begging. And I'll keep talking about it every time until Social Welfare, Ministry of Gender does something about it. 5 years, they're out there begging on the streets, in traffic. No parental guidance. Social media watches, sorry, not social media. Social welfare watches on. In other jurisdictions, these children would be picked up and social media would take control. Social welfare would take control of their lives, put them in schools, ensure that they are given some sort of protection. We as a country, we have failed our children. Look, basic education is a right for every child. But on a school day, basic education, elementary school, you see children standing by the roadside. It's a constitutional right that every child in elementary must have free education. But these children are out there begging. Government is not enforcing that right. How do you enforce it? You get them off the street. Ministry of Gender, Social Welfare, go out there, pick them up. They need to build places for these children. It's called fostering. You need to foster them. If their parents are not ready to take care of them because they don't have the means, government must take care of them. Government must put them in foster homes and take care of them to ensure that no child is left behind. But if we leave these children behind, these children will grow up to become a menace to society. They will grow up to learn armed robbery, to learn killings, to learn kidnapping on the streets because nobody is looking out for them. So if we fold our arms and we watch, these children will come and terrorize us in future because they are only learning the bad things out there in the streets. Then you have, I was going to talk about this people showing off wealth on social media. You have pastors, they call themselves men of God. I'm a man of God. They come and flaunt their wealth. Every time they buy a new car, they show it out, put it out. Men of God, they come and spray money in church and walk on the money. And this is shown on live TV. This is, people watch it on television, people watch it in their church services. And you tell me that nobody should do anything about it? The children see the money, even food that they have to, daily food they can't afford. And they see a pastor spraying money. It has now become part of our events. Every time there's a wedding, you see people spraying money and people stepping on it. What work does that person do for him to be buying all those vehicles, for him to be showing off for a little child who has no money? And they then dream that they also want to have the same thing. So the pastors should know better. People are looking up to you. You are role models. There's no need for you to come and prove to me that you're a millionaire. No need. If you're a millionaire, go out there and change somebody's life. Don't come and spray money on social media and make the young ones feel that they have failed in life. And so they must go and find foul means of getting rich overnight. If you want to get rich, the only way you can get rich is to work hard. Work is how to get rich. But all these that I'm talking about, it is not as if government is not aware. Government is aware of all these things. They don't protect anyone because the police is in their pockets. The people who are engaging in money laundering, the people who are spraying money on TV, the people who are buying cars without paying taxes and coming to show it off. I'm talking about pastors. Government, they have government backings. They have a police enforcement backing. So who are you to go and talk? My problem is that keep it in your house. If you sit in your car, you buy a car to sit in it to move from point A to point B. But where you come and then you want to show it off, and there's someone out there who is pressured. They call it, I'm going to say, me top pressure amount more top pressure amount for who can't afford it, which is leading them to go and engage in things that are not right. And we have normalized all this. That is my fear. My fear for the society, my society, our society, is that we have normalized all this. It's normal. And then people will be sharing it. Oh, where will Reverend wait? Where will wait? It's normal. Where will Sakawa boy? Where Sakawa boy? Look, bloggers, they take a Sakawa boy's video, spraying money, popping champagne. And it's on YouTube. It's out there. Instead of him to be arrested, he's now famous. He's now a star. There are young boys looking up to him. There's a young boy, the same Kaswa lately, who was playing with a Sakawa boyfriend. They were playing, and then I think the boy put his ring down, and he took the ring and wore it, and his finger got rotten.
Yeah.
Did you ring? His finger got rotten. And when they called the boy said, well, it's time for me to sacrifice a baby. The juju man is asking me to bring baby blood. So until I take that baby blood, the ring cannot come off your finger. So the more they try to remove that ring, the more sore or rotting the finger got. They had to take him to a malam who performed rituals before they could take off the ring. So you have Sakawa boy saying that he needs to go and sacrifice baby blood before the ring that he's wearing, would come off. And this Sakawa boy, you haven't asked him what he sacrificed before. If he has to sacrifice baby blood as a thank you, what did he even sacrifice in the first place before you got the ring and the money? We are not asking questions. National Media Commission, Ministry of Information, they are failing us.
Yeah, it's alleged that even a baby was found dead in that same locality. And I was expecting that some detailed investigation will be conducted to, determine how come a baby died within that same period when someone was saying he needed a baby's blood or a baby's life for such ritual. But it's unfortunate this is the kind of country we find ourselves in. And sometimes the turn of events when it comes to such issues is very pathetic and very, very disappointing. Very. And
yes, and like you said, I was expecting that some form of investigation will go into the death of that baby. But what I saw was rather the malam who was able to remove the finger, the ring from the finger, was rather giving airtime on Kofi TV to come and sell his way. You are promoting him. Some of these bloggers, they will say that, oh, this person has powers, this pastor has powers, and they'll bring them on their show, and they have viewership. So the viewers take the people's numbers after. So this Malam who was able to remove the ring, From that interview that he attended on that bloggers program, do you know that the customers that he's getting? What is he going to ask them to also do to get rich? So these things must be regulated. Unfortunately, with social media, it's very hard, but
Yeah.
it's easy for them to regulate the regular media, which is the how do you call it?
National television.
TV and radio and newspaper. It's easier for them to do that, you know. But our bloggers must also be careful. You bring people who know nothing, and they will come and brag. I have powers. I have this. Look, I was watching a young man, a pastor, yesterday. He was interviewed on a radio station, and he was proudly saying how he uses dead people's water bodies to as holy water for people. He was saying that he goes to buy like when they bath dead people, he collects the water, and that's what he sells to his church members for miracles. And this person hasn't been arrested, and he can sit on radio and say these things. Where does he get dead people's water from? Yeah. Is it right? Do the family members of the water that he's collecting, do they know that they've got for their how do you call it? The body, the water from whatever. It's just not right. Yet our media, our radio station gives airtime to these people to come and talk. And then once they leave, callers call in. Once they leave, people have their telephone numbers. So we are not going anywhere anytime soon with this kind of behavior. If government doesn't put a firm foot down, it's going to get worse. You turn on your TV, broad daylight, morning, and they are showing programs with sexual content.
Yeah.
Sexual content on TV, broad daylight. When we were young, they used to show those feature films after 11. So by then you'll be sleeping. But now, Kumkum Baja, all of those nasty things, they've been showing live on TV. No parental guidance. And like I said, you are learning from the Western world. Here it's not like that. There's parental guidance on everything. If you show it on TV, the parental guidance is there. The parents are even able to control the remote control such that if the parental guidance is 13 and you are not 13, you will not even be able to watch it because they've done the settings on the TV. But we have left our children. We don't care. On radio, you hear radio presenters talking about sex in tree, how they are able to sleep with people and they give descriptions. Very graphic descriptions, and children are listening. Children are listening.
They even go to the extent of practicing it on live TV. Yeah.
So when you see a 16-year-old raping a 2-year-old, when you are describing it, some of them, their hormones, because they are young, their hormones are very active. So he's watching it. The thing is working. He's listening to you. He's having imagination. The next minute he sees a 2-year-old, he goes to defile that 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So our media is not helping us. They talk about unnecessary things. Instead of them to be talking about these things and condemning them, they rather bring the people, the corporates, they bring them on their shows to come and talk about it, to come and tell people how magical they are, how powerful they are. We are failing. We are failing our youth. And like I said, if we continue to watch on, it will come back to bite us. It will bite us so hard, we will not even know what hit us.
Thank you, Her Excellency, for enlightening our mind's eye on some of the things we think we are copying from the Western world unknowingly, but we are copying them blindly. And I think most of us from today, or should I say henceforth, are going to be extremely critical with some of our actions and some of the things we think we are learning from the Western world. I think Lawyer John Indebugri can also come on to at least, talk to us about this whole murder. And I think he prompted me on an issue, and I would want to give him the floor to clarify issues for us?
Very well. I think the issue I want to add as a criminal defense lawyer is that the alleged offense is one of murder or manslaughter. These are first degree felonies, and for that matter, even if the accused persons pleaded in their first appearance in court, if they pleaded guilty, the court should not even enter guilty plea for them, but should enter plea of not guilty, and then let the case proceed on full trial. That is to say that with such offenses, no guilty plea is acceptable by the court. And then I think Honorable also said that the people said they are going to use or let me say the accused person said they were going to use the body for rituals, and for that matter, intention is complete. With the greatest respect to Honorable, I beg to disagree. In the sense, all that we are hearing, I haven't heard them say so in court. So all that we are hearing, to me, they are outside court, and for that matter, it's inadmissible hearsay until they have said so in court. Otherwise, all that I hear outside is said outside court, and we cannot base on that to condemn them or convict them. But to also add that even though a case might be very clear as we are thinking, as others are saying, oh, this is clear, they said they have killed the boy and then they want to do so, everything is complete. Yes, it could be so, all right. But a case could be lost on procedural grounds and then rules of evidence. In the sense that if even the statements they give to police, those statements do not comply with the rules of evidence as required, maybe confession statement as required by Section 120 of the Evidence Act, then you might say that, oh, this case was very clear, but substantively, yes, procedurally, you can lose a case. And the parents and other interested, or the families of the deceased and other interested people say, the judge has gone to take a goat. The judge has taken something, but the judge has taken nothing. So I just want us to bear in mind that even though we might be seeing it clear that it is, but until a trial judge or a court of competent jurisdiction has tried the case, convicted them and sentenced them, I would beg that we refrain from making prejudicial comments, as it also affects their right to fair trial, and then it can also affect court proceedings. So I think that we should hold our breath until the court will come out clear. So the guys have been convicted and acquitted. Otherwise, intention is a very complex topic, and we cannot simply say the intention is formed. The accused person, the prosecution must prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, and prove beyond is a very high degree, which is a very early stage that we cannot just conclude that they are guilty. So this is just what I wanted to add on.
Yes. Well said, lawyer. And a follow-up question, the relatives and the people in the community are threatening that if the court, or should I say, the court does not rule in favor of the deceased and the family, then they are also going to take issues into their own hands and go after the perpetrators as well as their family. And what's your take on that? Could you say something briefly on that?
I would strongly advise them to desist from doing it, lest they are cited for contempt. Because to threaten a court that if the court does not rule in one way or the other is contemptuous of the court, it is prejudicial, and then you are obstructing the course of justice. And I think that they should be very careful with their comments. Like I said, it's very sad and very pathetic, but they should not be carried away, lest they are cited for contempt. But you cannot tell a court that if you don't rule in this way and that way, no. Like I said, what the legal eye and legal mind will see, the lay mind will not see it that way. It can be true. Yes, the guys were the people who murdered the 10-year-old boy. They had the intention right. But even procedurally, in terms of procedure, If the witness statement they are taking does not conform with, example, the well-known Section 120 of the Evidence Act, then clearly prosecution must fail. So if the prosecution does not also do their own serious investigative work, and then they do armchair investigation or lazy investigation, sorry to use that word, then there are doubts in the or weaknesses in the prosecution case. Then those doubts and weaknesses must inure to the benefit of the accused persons, and they must be acquitted. And you can't blame the judge. You can't blame the court, because the court is not the one doing the investigation. The court is sitting there. You said the people have committed murder, and then you have brought them to court. So the onus lies on you to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. So if you fail to prove beyond reasonable doubt, then the accused person must be set free. He must be acquitted. So I beg the families to exercise restraint, because to take the law into their own hands and to threaten the court, it's serious, and they must be careful.
Wow. So, lawyer, is that to say that irrespective of, all these evidences that is in the public domain, where it's so obvious that these two people committed the crime, could it be that the court could even rule in their favor, regardless of all these evidence that we have in the public?
Sincerely speaking, I want to refrain from concluding that they have committed offense and they are guilty, because the facts and evidence are not before me, and I'm not the trial court, and I would not want to say so. So, like I said, they could be, yes, they could be acquitted based on a number of factors. Like I said, a case is won both on substantive and procedurally, substantive law and on procedural law. So even though the substantive law might be correct, if procedurally the rules of evidence, you don't prove your case beyond reason, they must be entitled to acquittal. So it's possible they may be convicted, they may be acquitted. So we should be ready for anything, any outcome. And then whatever statements that are out there, like I said, according in the rules of evidence, are inadmissible hearsay evidence. They have not been put before court and been tested under cross-examination. No. So we cannot just take everything hook, line, and sinker and say, oh, the guys are guilty and then they must be convicted. No. Because the Constitution says that they are presumed innocent until they themselves have pleaded guilty or they have been proved guilty by the prosecution. So whatever statements are out there, that is statements or that's the opinion of court of public opinion, but not the court of competent jurisdiction. And like as a criminal defense lawyer, I would not want to conclude that they are guilty. No, they are not for now. Until a full-scale trial and the evidence has established that indeed the murder has been committed and it is no one but is the accused persons, and they committed it in the right frame of mind or with a guilty mind, then we can all now say, okay, yes, the guys were guilty. That's not to say that I'm condoning acts of murder or acts of I'm condoning crime. No, but at least I'm weighing the scales evenly. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for these awesome submissions and for clarifying the air concerning some of the proceedings, or should I say, judgments that are passed by our courts of competent jurisdiction. Okay, so if Mr. Fred is also on the line, could my producers bring him on so that I could ask him a few more questions before we could call it a day? Mr. Fred, I would want to find out from you, would you say that children of these days, or should I say children of this 21st century, are now more exposed to harmful materials than they were in your days as a child?
Yeah, OHENEWAA, yeah, it's true. Yeah, children of these days are now exposed to a lot of harmful materials than in our days. Yeah, but even with that, let's look at our current society. Do we have role models? Do the children have people they could look up to as role models? We read about people, Ghanaians, accomplished Ghanaians, both home and abroad. Go into our educational curriculum and see. if their names are even mentioned, for the children to study or read about them so that they could aspire to become like them. No. We are studying about outside cultures that do not have any impact on us. Now, with the death of this child in KWAAPONG, we are just coming out of the APAM issue. Last year, or is it last 2 years, it was Tadi. We lost some girls there. When Her Excellency was talking, she made mention of others who are on the street, who could be run over by any speeding car. What is it that we as a society or the media, what are you doing? Let's hold our government and appointees accountable. After election, who takes the party's manifesto to read? What is it that you said about children? And have you done it? Those are the bread and butter issues that affect us as a nation. That is what I expect the media, some stations, should be talking about. Not to be broadcasting people doubling money. And it's not only peculiar to the traditional people. Like Her Excellency said, you have pastors who are also doing same. Come, I will get you a job. So is he looking at whether you have a qualification or not? Come, if somebody owes you, I can force the person to pay. Are you asking yourself that genuinely? Is it that the person don't want to pay? Or is it that he doesn't have the means? That you are going to force the person to pay that money? So as a society, we need to look at our values. And I expect the media to be fronting some of these things. Let's make the government accountable. Let's read their manifestos they give and see and hold them accountable that you promise us A, B, and C. So in the next election, for the child, for children right organizations, come out and tell us that they have failed or they have delivered.
Yeah.
Our children are our future. Our children are our future. And if we leave them like that, no, we are not going to get anywhere. You don't care how the next person's child is raised. So if one night you sleep and you wake up and he's pointing a gun on your head, you call him a bad boy. You saw him doing something that is right and you didn't correct him.
Oh.
So we all need to come on board. And I think the media, please, our appeal to them, stop this political talk show, the sports shows and whatnot. Morning, afternoon, if it is not some religious content, it is sports. We've been discussing these political shows, sports shows. Have we even won the World Cup? No. But yet there are bread and butter issues. Some rural communities, the roads are not good. Nobody is talking about it. How would those people get the opportunity to bring their concerns to the government? Their MP is sitting in parliament and probably might only visit them in the next 4 years. So let's make sure that we secure the future of our children. And please, if you are not ready to guide your child, please, I will wish you had not even given birth. Those who have the means to take care of other children, adopt them and take care of them. Let's build a good, inclusive, all-inclusive society if we can. If we can, let's do that. If not, the direction we are going, we used to watch our can drama and what the opera shows and the cantatas. We were learning moral lessons from it. I'm not condemning any soap opera they are showing now, but what lessons is it that there? I don't watch them. Somebody should tell me. But what lessons are there for the youth? Ask the children on the street to mention any Ghanaian that they see as a role model. They will not, I don't think you will get some of them mentioning anybody's name. Ask them to mention the slay queens and the rappers and whatnot. They will give you names. What movement? What movement? And they are fighting. Yes, still, these artists are friends. Why? So which direction are we going as a country? We need to sit down. All hands should be on deck and let's save our society. Some of these churches, those Orthodox churches that came, build schools with the monies they got. And I attended a Catholic school. These one-man churches that have come, like Kofi Kenyatta's song, they use your money to build a school, and yet you cannot even attend it when you are still a church member. Let's look at probably taxing some of these things. The church is being given the role to play as the Great Commission. Go out and win souls. Are they winning souls? Some of these churches are, let me say, malls. They are shopping malls, not churches.
Yeah.
Not churches. By the way, I believe as a Christian that no church belongs to anybody, because when Jesus told Peter, on you I will build my church, he didn't say a pastor will build his church. He said, on you, God will build a church. Let not the youth be in a hurry to get rich so early in life. Let's take our time. Go through the mill, but they need guidance. They need guidance. If a child should do something wrong and probably comes in contact with the law, you see a politician fronting, oh, this is my boy. This is my boy. So who should face the law? Lawyer spoke about people going through the judicial mill. I perfectly agree with him. But lawyer, in this country, I stand to be corrected. That is my opinion, my personal opinion. Some of these cases are tried in the court of public opinion. And though that is not supposed to be the ideal, but that is the reality, where the court of public opinion's judgment they pass even before the case starts, come to at the end, that is what stands. At the end, that is what stands. That is the ruling the court gives. I'm not a legal expert, but that is my observation. That is my opinion. So if the judicial system could help us in some form of education, it will help. But please, I'm calling on the youth to please and please. Bible said, what shall it profit a man if he gets the whole world and loses his soul? You are a Christian, you are a Muslim, or whatever that you believe in God. Take your time. Life goes just beyond what we see as ordinary. And as a society, we should begin to give up some of these hooligans in our society. They are living among us. Let's start reporting them. Let's start reporting the Sakawa boys and whoever they are. Let's start reporting them to the police. And when they are reported to the police, let the police do the right thing. I will plead again to the youth. When you are corrected, please accept it. You plead now, not may think you are being punished and you think your parents don't love you. Wait until you become a parent yourself and you realize that your parents actually loved you. that they were putting you on the right path. Thank you, OHENEWAA.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fred. Let me ask you one more question, and then I would move to my other panelists and take their final words.
Okay.
Okay, so in your view, what do you think, what do you suggest should be done for the family? Do you think they may need any psychological intervention? And what do you think is the appropriate thing that the family, do you think they'll need any compensation? Yes, we know that no amount of compensation will be enough to, calm them or bring back to life their beloved son. But then what do you think is the appropriate thing, at least to calm tempers and all that?
First of all, I think they need a clinical psychologist to probably calm them down and talk to them, let them go through some counseling to accept the fact that it has happened and probably the whole country is behind them. Let the government also and some NGOs out there look at ways of probably compensating them, give them probably something to support them. Let's pray for them that they find a place in their heart to accept this strategy. It's not easy for a parent to lose their child in times like this. You see, when we talk about some of these things, unfortunately, it is not happening to the man at the top. It is happening to those who are down there. The poor man's child, the one that do not have, those who don't have a say in our society. They are the people suffering. So please, those of us in society who are down there, let's be interested in our children. Let's talk to them. Let them become our friends. Open up. And let's sometimes feel how they feel. And tell them when they are down, let's motivate them. And tell them that it is not all about wealth. It's not all about money. It's not all about happiness. True happiness is not in money. But I think the family needs our support now and our prayers in times like this. But I think as a country and as a nation, if you had said something bad about anybody, or anywhere, tomorrow morning they will be coming after you. We are calling on them.
Mm-hmm.
We are calling on them to come, put in immediate policies. Put in immediate policies. The media houses, please, there are a lot of pressing issues to be discussed that we Ghanaians are interested. That is what we want to hear. Unemployment rate is very high. Put government on its toes to create jobs for people, because the devil finds work for the idle hand. Let's improve upon our social support system. That is the way out. Until then, we are not giving our children, or we are mortgaging our future into doom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fred, for such amazing contributions. And we are far behind time, so I would want to take the final words from Lawyer Indebugri and finally from Her Excellency.
Thank you very much, OHENEWAA. My final word here would be to once again express my condolence to the bereaved family, and also to further caution them and everyone that we avoid judicial comments that would land us into trouble, as in contempt of court, and let's though we expressing our opinions, we make sure that we wait for and accept whatever be the outcome of the court, so that we don't use the court of public opinion, as my brother Fred said that he believes in that. We should rather believe in what the court of competent jurisdiction will finally see, so that we don't have any trouble. So I will once again say that the bereaved family must have a heavy heart, and then trust that the courts will do justice. So in the end, if the accused persons are acquitted, they should accept. If the accused persons are convicted, they should also accept. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and my greetings to all viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much, for your expert opinion, and we appreciate your time as well, and for enlightening us on the legal, background, or should I say, from the legal point of view. We appreciate greatly. We would want to take our final words from Her Excellency Zita Benson, and then we would call it a day.
Thank you very much, OHENEWAA. I think that we've said it all. My condolences also goes to the family. It's going to be a tough time for them. The boy looked like a very brilliant boy, and they just cut his life short. But we shouldn't wait for, a repeat. We shouldn't wait for another incident to occur. The people that we pay to protect us must be up and doing. We shouldn't wait. The Takrady girls came, there was uproar, now this one has come, and tomorrow you hear that this person is missing, and the next day they turn up dead. No, we shouldn't turn our country into this kind of, fearful country where there's no peace and there's no safety. So I believe that the agencies must do a lot. And Ministry of Gender must also turn its eye to look at, how best to put in the social networks that would help the street children, that would help children who don't have anyone taking care of them. The ministry must be able to put in place the structures and ensure that no child is left behind. Our pastors, the slave queens, the people, the influencers in society who try to show off. Children are watching you, so be mindful of what you do, because when they see you, they aspire to have what you have, and they don't even have education, let alone have jobs to get what you want, but they want it now, and it's leading to creating a lot of trouble for the youth and for society. So I just want to say that the National Media Commission, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Communication, please, the people who are watching say that they don't want those adverts on TV. Listen and do something about it. And let's see how best we can all move our society as a Ghanaian community, in the right direction. Otherwise, like I said earlier, it will come back to bite all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I would want to read a few shout-out messages, and then we'll take the final words from Mr. Fred, and then we'll call it a day. From Rosie to Davidson, Efutu SNF, she says, I wish you a happy birthday, and may you age gracefully. From Rosie to Davidson, Afutu. I would also want to take the rare opportunity to wish my dad a belated happy birthday, Mr. Kingsley Sechama KWAAPONG. Wherever you are listening from, I want to wish you a happy birthday, belated birthday, sorry. And I hope that God would keep increasing your age, increase you in stature, in wisdom. And thank you for everything you do for me and for my siblings. We appreciate. God richly bless you and add many, many more years to your age. We love you, Daddy. And also, let me just quickly go through our sponsors, and then afterwards we take the final words from Mr. Fred and call it a day. Empowerment is proudly brought to you by Today Ghana News TV, and proudly sponsored by Authentic Sales, which is an online sales business that deals in original Apple products and anything fashion, ranging from ladies' heels, makeup products, sneakers, office shirts, t-shirts, belts, slides, etc. And Thailand the Cobbler, which is also an online business that deals in shoes, boots, leather clutch, bags, etc. We have Jody's Kitchen. They are into local and continental dishes as well as Afranese cuisine. So you could place your order, and also their details and their flyers are on our screen. You could pick up their numbers and transact business with them. Thank you for sponsoring. I would also want to acknowledge the support from my producers, Mr. Seth Addy from Germany and Mami Amma Rosie from London. I appreciate your efforts in making this show a success. I would want to take the final words from Mr. Fred, and then we would call it a day because time is fast spent.
Yeah, thank you, OHENEWAA. My message is simple to the youth. I'm so passionate about them. They shouldn't be in a hurry to get rich quick. They should try as much as possible to go through the mill. To government, create a lot of avenues, employment opportunities for the youth of this country to get employed. And some of these social vices will come down. Let's also try to improve the content of our education and probably educate people to be to have the country at heart first before anything else. Yeah, that's all I have to say. My condolences once again to the family, and I wish you a good program in future. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on this program. Greetings to all your listeners as well.
Thank you so much. And I would also want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all my panelists. You've been very awesome and you've made very relevant contributions to today's discussion. I cannot thank you enough because you've all had very tight schedules. But then when we called on you to grace this program, you never turned us down. And then today we've come out with a very awesome and edutaining program. Myself and my producers would want to express our heartfelt gratitude to you, and we hope to have you another time to contribute to subsequent discussions. Thank you so much, and have a lovely week ahead.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.